what that experience is like for them. But I saw a little bit of it. And I only saw a tiny bit. And I saw the version they give when there's a property owner in the mix. Because my landlord was there, and he's older, and he's a man. Right? So, like, I saw the version they were giving when there was the certain class markers were met. And so I can't imagine what it's like when those people are not around, right?
Right, yeah.
And it makes me, I think if people understood what those experiences are like, they would not call 911 over a barbecue, right? You know, and look at experiences like John Crawford, who was shot after someone saw him in a Walmart picking up a gun, an air pellet gun that he was intending to buy, picking it up that was being sold at Walmart, walking around casually holding it under his arm while talking on the phone. Someone called 911 and the police just shot him and killed him. And I think that if people understood what the experience is like when police are involved in a marginalized person's life, they wouldn't just be so quick to call them. And they shouldn't be. That situation could have been solved any number of ways. And the last resort way should be 911 because now he's dead and he did nothing wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to say it, but I will say it. It's very upsetting. It's upsetting that these people that we want to protect us and they don't, and we can't trust them too. And if you don't have an advocate for you, if you hadn't been there for that woman, I don't know.
I think about her a lot.
Yeah.
I think about her a lot. And again, I'm a Black woman, but I'm also, like I said, I'm very privileged. And so I don't like with the police either. Like, if it has to be life or death for me to call the police. But if me as a educated, decently, like moderately well-off, person who sort of knows how to talk to the police or whatever, knows how to code switch.
Yeah.
If the experience is bad for me, imagine what it's like for people who are not like me. And I think people are not thinking that through. They're not understanding that you could be signing someone's death warrant, right? Like the person who called 911 on John Crawford, he probably didn't understand that calling 911 was going to lead to his death. But that's reality. I mean, look at the data here. According to the police violence report, 1,147 people were killed by police in 2017. Now, Black folks were more likely to be killed by police and more likely to be unarmed and less likely to be threatening someone when they were killed. And on top of that, police recruits spend 7 times as many hours training to shoot than they do training to de-escalate situations. So that just tells you right there, you could be signing someone's death warrant, right? Like the person who called 911 on John Crawford, he probably didn't understand that calling 911 was going to lead to his death. But that's reality. I mean, look at the data here. According to the police violence report, 1,147 people were killed by police in 2017. Now, Black folks were more likely to be killed by police and more likely to be unarmed and less likely to be threatening someone when they were killed. And on top of that, police recruits spend 7 times as many hours training to shoot than they do training to de-escalate situations. So that just tells you right there, when you call these people in, you need to be damn sure you understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to come down hard on police here, although I think my feelings about police are probably obvious. I probably don't need to say them. But a lot of time, police officers are dealing with situations that they really have no business dealing with. Somebody who's having a mental health crisis, the police, they should be trained in how to deal with someone who's having a mental health crisis. But calling 911 on somebody who is having a mental health crisis, it should not be the first line of defense. And so I feel for the police in a kind of way, which will probably shock people to hear, because they are being tasked to deal with situations that, frankly, we should have better services and people who are trained better to deal with these things. And they're being called in to deal with them. Mm-hmm. But people should understand what you are doing when you are summoning armed agents of the state to deal with someone because they're having a loud party. You should understand what that means.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know. It should be the last line for many reasons, but just, I know we're on the same page on this, but like introducing a gun or a weapon into any situation automatically like raises the stakes of it. So, I don't know. Someone's barbecuing outside of my house. Let's add a gun to the mix. It just doesn't make sense.
And having that be the first line of defense.
Yeah, exactly.
I could see if you went over there and they physically threatened you or they accosted you. That's, even I might be like, well, I get it. I would get that. But just seeing someone barbecuing and then being like in a public space and then going straight to 911. No, do not do that.
No.
Do not do that. There are times to call the police and there are times to just really honestly just mind your business. That's like the first rule of living in a city, I feel like, is know when to mind your business. And
Yes.
a lot of these people could have just minded their business. Gene Demby wrote at Slate, I thought this was perfectly put to your point, Annie. The police were called into this situation, as a colleague said, to mediate a misunderstanding, like they were RAs in a dorm room, not armed agents of the state with a broad discretion to use violence and detain people. The police are not your personal grievance task force.
No.
They're not there to sort out any interpersonal misunderstanding that you have. We are adults. We can do that, right? Like you can use your mouth and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, everything okay here? You can, if you really feel the need to get involved, you can do that. I might say, just go
about your day.
Like, mind your business.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we need like a mediating task force just goes around. No need to call the police.
Like, have you tried just minding your business and just like living your life? Is that an option
Is that
for
Netflix I see?
you? Like, the thing is like, I know we should take a break, and I'm getting on my high horse. And I know, I'm sorry. People are going to be like, this is one of Bridget's ranty episodes, and it is, but it's upsetting me. I think it's related to gentrification in public space. And
Yeah.
being a Black person who has lived in a lot of gentrifying cities, I think it's about who is and who is not allowed to feel okay in public, and who kind of always has to have their guard up when they're in public. A perfect example is myself. I was once locked out of my own apartment. And and my apartment at the time had a way of getting in through a window that was kind of like, we had a way of getting in. And I remember being afraid. I remember thinking like, if someone sees me going into my own apartment, they could call 911. And I was just like, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. And so rather than going into my own building, I just waited and waited and waited and waited and waited for hours until someone came and let me in because I was too afraid. And again, I'm someone who is privileged. I have situations where I'm sitting on my own stoop and someone who does not even live there will walk by and be like, can you not sit on this